Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Proxima Midnight, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Steven.
Hello, gentlemen. We've got the whole gang together for this one today. It's real nice to see you guys again. How are you doing today, Steven?
I'm pretty good. I'm back in Ohio, getting ready to move more stuff down to South Carolina.
That's good to hear. It's good to have you back up here in our neck of the woods. Brandon, how are you doing today?
I like how Fred said it's good to see you guys, like he can actually see us right now. I very much
It's good to
enjoy that.
talk to you. It's good to talk to you. Brad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. We almost had the old school podcast back together, but Jared wouldn't be a guest star.
Jared hopped in here for a minute before we started recording, so he still exists, everyone out there. And he's starting to play MCP again, so we're gonna drag him back in. But that is for the future. Let's instead talk about the upcoming tournaments. So coming up later this week, on March the 29th, there is a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Ohio. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh, sorry.
I'm pretty sure they fought a war over that, Fred.
This is a tournament run by Bryce, and I believe that this is going to be an affiliation tournament, which means that you have to have your entire list affiliated if you're going to participate. Bryce runs a really good event, and the crew that plays up there regularly is very strong. It is a strong meta, so if you want a challenge, go up there and play them in their tournament on their home field advantage. Then later, coming up on the 12th of April, there is a tournament at Firefly Games in Columbus, South Carolina.
Columbia.
It even says Columbia. I just misread it. My bad. Sorry about that, everybody. Columbia. I said, man, I'm stuck in Ohio. That's what's happening. I said Columbus. All right, well, whatever. It is April the 12th, Firefly Games. And then on April the 19th, there is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics. This is our local game store in South Charleston, West Virginia. That one will be run by Brad. And do we have 10 people signed up right now?
We currently have 10 people signed up.
That is a bumper crop. That's way more than we usually have. So, yeah, come on down. We need more people. The more people, the better. And then coming up on the 26th of April, there's a tournament at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. This is a busy time of year all of a sudden. We have lots of tournaments to shout out. But yeah, that one is Recess Games is a great store. It is a fantastic space. I really liked going there the one time that I did. I am definitely open to going again. All right, well, those are the upcoming events for the next month. And I think right now there's no news out of AMG. We are expecting them to have a big news drop at Adepticon. But we will see. We know nothing. And for all we know, they will say nothing at Adepticon. But that's probably not the case.
They will at least make product announcements, Fred.
Yes. There will be product announcements at Adepticon.
Whether
we will
get
have
car changes or not is up in the air, but there will be product announcements.
Yes. We will have something to talk about in this section next week. So let's just move on now that we're through that. Games that we've played recently. Have any of you played any games recently?
Nope.
Yeah. I played a game.
Okay. Steven, why don't you talk about the game that you've played recently?
Well, last Sunday, I was invited to come over to somebody's house, Mary Newton, who I mentioned at the tournament. and she was practicing for Adepticon. So she went against my spider foes, and because she wanted to get practice into them, and she was playing a Wakanda list, and it was basically some practicing games, like what should I do in this situation, what should I do in that situation. So needless to say, we got through the games, and needless to say, the spider foes won again. So, but King T and Baku are scary. I will say that. So.
Yeah. Do you mean the 5-threat Black Panther King?
Yes, yeah, King
Yeah.
T'Challa, yeah, that is
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
So, but you either have to go into him hard, or he just kind of does what he wants to. So,
Yeah, I think I played against a King T'Challa list my very first game at Second Wind last year, and it's tough. It's a tough matchup. He's very effective.
yeah, but I mean, you put enough stuff into him, and he's
He
going to go
goes
down
down.
eventually. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you, Stephen. Brandon, did you say that you had played a game?
I did play a game.
Is it not MCP?
It was not MCP.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. What was the game that you played, just out of curiosity?
I played a game of 40K.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nobody cares.
Thousand Suns versus Blood Angels. 2,000 points.
Oh boy. You're talking a different language. None of us know what that means. I'm
I
sure
do-
that
I
actually
do.
Steven knows.
Two people,
Yeah,
actually,
Steven
two
knows
people.
what that means.
Fred, you're the only one who doesn't know what that means.
I just don't care.
Alrighty.
Brad knows. He just doesn't care at all. I just wanted you to be like, oh, Brandon, you played a game. Let's hear about it. And I was going to be like, all right. Set the scene.
Okay then. All right. Well, those were the games that we played recently. I wasn't able to attend our weekly gaming session, and I don't think there was an opponent for Brad. Brad was.
Well, I could have played a game, but I was feeling under the weather, so I let Josh and Jared play. Jared was playing Apocalypse, and Josh played two different lists. So the first game, Josh played Mephisto and a bunch of twos. Well, there was a group in there. His Mephisto's list. I think that list has a lot more legs. I think it's not just a meme. I think it's actually pretty good.
Was it actually effective?
Yeah, he had several activations after Jared was done to like play scenario, and even if you're killing a model or two a turn, you still have a normal size list to play with. So, the thing that really screwed him was the scenario. It was the wedding secure. If they had played the other set of secures, it might have even changed who won the game. But it was cool to watch.
I'm guessing Mephisto's won the day.
No.
Okay.
That's because the scenario hurt Mephisto's so bad because they had to clump around. They had to clump around two secures, whereas if it was a wider secure, that wouldn't have been as big of a problem.
Okay.
And then the second game, Jared played Apocalypse again, and then Josh played his all Chargers list. So it's Steve 1, and everyone else in the list has charge.
Oh God. Danvers.
Yeah, who didn't get to do anything all game because
boy.
Jared never attacked her, which was smart. But then she made attacks and just never did damage to make power. So
that is on brand. That is on brand for Josh.
Yeah. So that didn't quite work out. And at the end of the game, Jared had 2 legacy viruses on Apocalypse and was up on points and ran Apocalypse into the corner, slowing Shang-Chi first, and won the coward's way.
Hey, it wins you the game.
It did win
That
him
is a
the
way to
game.
win the game.
But that was it. That was the 2 games that got played. And then there was a game of Shatterpoint
Okay.
that got played. It looked like fun, but that's not relevant to the podcast.
Right. Okay, then. I guess those were the games that we've played. It's a lot shorter than our last episode where we talked quite a bit about a tournament. All right. Well, let's. Before we move on, this is our first time having Brandon for a couple episodes. I kind of want to ask what his opinion is on Thanos and then Corvus. So, Brandon, what is your opinion on Thanos?
I think the nerf really just made it to where he's mostly only going to see play inside of affiliation, and I think he got a lot better in affiliation, keeping his front side leadership on his backside. So I think it's where he should be. I don't think he should be in every list like he was for so long. So I think he's in a good spot in Blackwater, and I think it made Blackwater better in a sense.
Because he's the same leadership on both the front and the back.
Yeah, I think that leadership being good, and I think like you don't necessarily have to take like all the stones that you want. Like you can kind of play it a different way because those leadership allows you to kind of like you can save a point. Because it was always hard playing like 8-point Thanos, 5-point Corvus. So now you can play like a world where you can play 8-point Thanos, or 7-point Thanos, 5-threat Corvus, or 8 and 4, and it doesn't feel as bad. So I think the change in the leadership as well also just really helped both of those models and that affiliation.
Okay, what would you give Thanos on a letter grade?
I think he's still like an A+. I think he's still great.
Okay, all right. And then Corvus.
Yeah, I think weirdly the change to Thanos kind of helped Corvus too, just kind of like I mentioned. But Corvus has always kind of been a buzzsaw, especially when he has the Reality Stone on him. But I know I've seen a lot of lists and a lot of people that are playing Black Order kind of take the Reality Stone off of him. Like I said, it can kind of save points. It can make your roster building at like 17, 18 a lot better, and a lot smoother playing. Because you're going to want to play Thanos a lot more now because that leadership's just really good and you don't have to take a tactics card. So I think he's still really good. Again, most of the Black Order characters are in a world where they're not getting splashed a lot, which I don't have a problem with. I think models that I would rather this game get to a point where you're playing mostly affiliated models.
Yeah, I think that's what AMG wants also. What's your letter grade on Corvus?
I want to go just like an A-. I think he's still really good, but like when he whiffs, it feels really, really bad.
Okay, all right, an A-. And Steven, I'm gonna throw it over to you. What would you like to give to Corvus? Because we haven't heard your take on Corvus yet.
I'll put him at a B+.
A B+. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's fair. Okay, I mean we're powering through this episode already. Hey Brad, do you have any trivia for me?
I sure do, Fred. Everyone's favorite part of the show. I love that we made Borka listen to trivia for once last time.
We did.
He normally skips that section. Okay, so here's how the trivia game works. The answers to the trivia are characters that are represented in the game of Marvel Crisis Protocol. The questions are about the comics, which Fred knows very little about. I will give him a clue. If he gets it right, he gets 3 points. I'll give him a hint. If he gets it right, he gets 2 points. After that, he can throw it over to Steven and Brandon to give their 2 cents for a single point. Fred needs 6 points to win. And we begin. This character's backstory has been retconned a number of times, like most comic characters. In this case, it was revealed that this character was not the prominent pillar of his community that everyone thought, but that personality was created by the Cosmic Cube and overrode his original personality as Snap, a drug dealer with mob connections. This personality has resurfaced a couple times until it was eventually revealed in another retcon that this personality was actually the fake one created by Red Skull.
Oh boy. Not a pillar of the community. But is instead of drug dealer. And this was rewritten by the Cosmic Cube?
Yes.
I don't know who this could be. It could. Who's a pillar of the community? Luke Cage. Is this Luke Cage?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Your hint. This character's only superpower is the ability to telepathically communicate with birds.
What? Wait. You've got to be kidding me. Who
No.
in this game can only communicate with birds? Oh my gosh. Who is this?
I want to throw something at Fred. I was so proud of him in the last episode, but I want to throw something at him now.
Is this obvious? Is this like something that people know? Who can communicate with birds? I don't know who this is. Now I'm in my head. I'm gonna just throw out the name Vulture. I'm just gonna say Vulture because I don't know the answer.
Yeah, you know that's wrong.
Yeah, I do.
I think Brandon probably knows this.
2 characters in this game are named after a bird, and you chose the wrong one. Like I don't get it. Like there were 2 options.
I need an answer, Brandon.
It is Sam Wilson's Captain America in this game, but Falcon in the comics.
It is Sam
Captain America.
Wilson.
Hold on. Sam Wilson can talk to birds?
Yeah, before he was Captain America, he was Falcon, who had a pet hawk named Redwing, and he could telepathically communicate with Redwing and other birds. I mean, it's not just Redwing.
I had no idea that was the thing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I will say, Vulture wasn't the worst guess in the world. Not a good one.
Luke Cage
definitely not
also
Nolan.
was a good guess for the first part.
Yeah.
But his alternate identity, Snap Wilson, turned out to be fake. It was created by Red Skull because of racism.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. 1 point so far, Fred. Good job.
Yay.
This character was introduced as a partner for an established superhero in that hero's comic. Being a Vietnam vet and an accomplished helicopter pilot made this character a big help in defeating some enemies before the main hero lapsed into addiction and this character took over for that hero, becoming the star of the comic. After the other hero recovered enough to take back his duties as a hero, this character went on to become a new hero and has worked in that role ever since. One interesting bit of history is that this character was playing the role of that other hero during the big crossover event called Secret War, where the heroes and villains are transported to a world and made to fight as a game between 2 cosmic entities. This is an important point in comics history because it paved the way for crossovers to become a thing, and no one remembers that it's this character, not the more famous person, in the role of that hero in this comic.
Okay, I've got one thing. You cut out for a minute there.
Okay.
For me, the people who are listening probably heard everything you said, but you cut out. I think it was the second point about this person, and it started with you saying "he," as if you were saying helicopter. Was that?
Being a Vietnam vet and an accomplished helicopter pilot.
Yeah, you cut. Is that?
Yeah, made this character.
Say the next. the next sentence too,
Right.
because I didn't hear that.
Being
either.
a Vietnam vet and an accomplished helicopter pilot made this character a big help in defeating some enemies before the main hero lapsed into addiction, and this character took over
Okay.
as that hero.
Okay. I have no idea. I don't know why I had you retell me that because it didn't help me at all. So this character is a sidekick who became the main character, and then went back to being a sidekick when the main character got better from drugs. I don't know who. Okay, who is on drugs, and maybe their sidekick. Maybe that'll help me. Who? This is not. I'm not gonna get there this way either. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is this Bucky?
Because Captain America is on drugs. This is not Bucky.
Yeah.
This is not
Okay.
Bucky.
Okay.
Your hint. This character is often used to explore political stories of interest to the writers. For example, he went to Africa in the 90s when writers were interested in the civil wars happening there, although that series quickly turned into science fiction, with this character even gaining an alien symbiote at one point. In the 2000s, this character had a similar story arc, but this time in the Middle East, since that was all over the news. When Marvel killed this character during Civil War II, they were criticized for killing one of the few prominent non-white characters at the company, so they quickly resurrected him.
Is this Killmonger?
This is not Killmonger.
Damn it. Okay.
All right, Brandon and Steven, do you guys know who this is?
Brandon?
Kind of, because I can only think of one character who died during Civil War II, but I don't have a clue if it's the hints don't really help me except for the Civil War II thing. Do you have any guess, Steven?
No.
I believe War Machine was killed during Civil War II, so I want to go with that.
That is correct. This is War Machine.
Let's go!
War Machine took over as Iron Man when Tony was too drunk to do Iron Man, and then once Tony becomes Iron Man again,
Okay.
Rhodey becomes War Machine.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Dang it.
He was like the most notable character who died during Civil War II, wasn't he?
He may have been the only one. I don't remember anyone else.
I don't either. That was the only thing I was like, he's the only one I can remember,
Yeah.
but I wasn't super engulfed in that series.
Marvel got a lot of flack for that one too. Okay. Well, Civil War II is bad. Just for the record, it's bad.
Yeah. It's definitely not worth it.
All right, Fred, you only need 4 more points, a number of points that you cannot possibly get. Let's go.
Real quick, before we continue, I'm getting some latency. I think that's because of the hotel Wi-Fi. So just in case that occurs, I apologize. But go on.
This character first became a supervillain after another villain transformed him via celestial technology into the ultimate killing machine. This character later saves his girlfriend from a group called the Crimson Dawn. She later returns the favor, fighting to save this character after he is transformed by a celestial death seed and takes over for his former boss. She manages to save him with a celestial life seed, but he's left feral and zombie-like with no higher brain functions, only taking orders from her.
Oh boy. What? Okay, the ultimate killing machine, and then a bunch of celestial nonsense. And then he turns into a zombie who only takes orders from his girlfriend. Is this I'm gonna guess that this is Brock Rumlow. This is Crossbones, and the girlfriend is Sin.
That is incorrect. Your hint.
Okay.
This character's powers include the ability to create and shoot knives coated with a paralyzing neurotoxin. This character has recently gained the ability to transform between his celestial augmented form and his base form, allowing him to live a relatively normal life most of the time. That normal life includes most people knowing who he is and also what his secret identity is.
Is this Bullseye? I don't know, man. Is this Bullseye?
No, this is not Bullseye.
Okay.
Brandon or Steven, do you guys know who this is? Brandon, you could go 3 for 3 here if you figure it out.
I'll be honest, I didn't even pay attention to the last hint.
Oh my god.
I got a message on Discord that I was trying to respond to. That's my fault. I apologize. What was the? Give me the last hint real quick. Super quick.
Oh my
3 for
God.
3. Let's run it. Come on.
This
you can do
character's
it.
powers include the ability to create and shoot knives coated with a paralyzing neurotoxin. This character has recently gained the ability to transform between his celestially augmented form and his base form, allowing him to live a relatively normal life most of the time. That normal life includes most people knowing who he is and what his secret identity is.
Do you have any guess, Steven? Before I just throw something out there.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I'm gonna go with Warlock.
That is incorrect. This is
Damn.
Archangel.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
He can just generate poison code. I guess he has neurotoxin on his card. His card even says neurotoxin.
It sure does.
doesn't it?
They shoot from his metallic wings.
Okay.
The knives are the feathers, and he can shoot them and then he grows them back.
It's real tough for people not to know who he is when he has 2 giant metal wings.
Well, he's
Like-
also like a billionaire head of a company, and people know he's a mutant.
Okay.
Also, the guy who turned him into Archangel that he takes over for later is Apocalypse. Archangel becomes the new Apocalypse for a bit,
Okay.
and then Psylocke saves him.
Okay, with a life celestial seed
Yep,
whatever you said.
that they stole from the Age of Apocalypse, an alternate universe where Apocalypse gets woken up earlier from the death of Xavier and takes over America.
Okay.
That's a good
All
story.
right. Well,
Anyway, for, let's say, 2 points. Your bonus question, Fred. What do these characters have in common?
all right. So we've got Sam Wilson. We've got War Machine. We've got War Machine, and we've got Archangel. They all have flight, don't they? They all have
That is
flight.
correct.
Is that
They all have flight.
okay?
I
That
love
was a
that
little easy.
Brad answered that really quickly because he knew Fred was about to talk himself out of the answer.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like the next words, for people who don't know, the next words out of Fred's mouth are going to be like, well, that can't be it, though, because that's too easy.
No, I would have also taken that they are people of color.
Is Archangel a person of color?
He's blue.
That doesn't count. That he's also a billionaire. That does not count.
Do you want to know another thing you could have said?
What?
All their attacks are physical.
Is that true?
Okay.
I think
Big
that's
fan of
probably
Eiffel
true.
65, Archangel is.
What?
Big fan of Eiffel 65, Archangel is.
Oh.
I have no idea what you're even saying.
Because he's blue. The Eiffel 65 song.
Oh.
Come on!
I see.
That was really lame, though. So,
Yeah, that's
Fred,
what I'm here for.
next section. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's move on away from trivia and to the person that we are here to cover today. And that person is Proxima Midnight, otherwise known as Proxima Midnight. Her defenses are 3 across the board. She has 5 stamina on both sides of her card, She is a threat value of 3, a size of 2, and a movement speed of long. Hey, Brad, why don't you do her attacks?
Okay, her first attack is a physical strike. Range 2, 5 dice, cost 0, gain power equal to damage dealt, wild pierce. Energy spear throw, range 3, 5 dice, cost 0. After attack is resolved, place this character within range 1 of the target. Wild poison after the attack is resolved. Energy quantum starburst, range 4, 6 dice, cost 4 power. If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target character gains the bleed, poison, and stun special conditions.
Okay, Steven, why don't you do the next superpower?
Martial prowess. It is a reactive superpower. It will cost you 2. And when this character is targeted by an attack within 2, it may use the superpower. Instead of rolling dice equal to its defense, it rolls 5 defense dice. If the character suffers no damage from the attack, after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage.
Oh, God, I hate that. And Brandon, why don't you finish off the card?
Wife of Corvus Glaive is a reactive superpower for 1. At the end of this character's activation, if it's within 3 of an allied Corvus Glaive, this character may use the superpower. If the allied Corvus Glaive does not have an activated token, he may activate before your turn ends. And she has invulnerability. If she would suffer damage from an enemy effect, reduce the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. Hello?
I'm having latency. Sorry. I missed the end of that card. But I assume that he finished it up.
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, so that's Proxima Midnight. She seems pretty straightforward, except that she goes like peanut butter with Corvus Glaive's chocolate. Like, she and Corvus Glaive work together so well, it's disgusting. She also has a pretty neat little kit. I like her attacks and her spender being able to put out a ton of really good conditions. Hey, Brad, what is your take here on Proxima Midnight?
Okay, so most people have only seen her with Corvus Glaive, whether that's been in Black Order or not. I have actually put her in lists without Corvus Glaive. I've put her in lists because she has a long move range 3 attack, so that places her, so she can make attacks turn 1 pretty consistently and end up still interacting with the scenario. I've put her in a Steve Rogers First Avengers list because she has really good wild triggers. I've put her in lists because of martial prowess and damage reduction. I think those two things go really well together to keep her alive and punish people for attacking her. And she will be in the middle of the fight. Like, she has 2 pretty long range attacks, but the one puts her right next to the target, and she's going to be doing that in her strike most of the time because 4 power is a lot, especially if you want a martial prowess. So for 3 points, she, I think, is still a bit above the curve for a 3-pointer.
I'm gonna throw it over to. I'll throw it over to Steven now. I apologize for how long that was for me to reply. I'm having some trouble here. Steven, what's your thoughts here?
She's very serviceable, but it's kind of odd how her attacks go 2, 3, 4, and her range 4 attack is only 6 dice and it costs 4 power. So I think it's a little bit inefficient, to tell you the truth. But she will have power for days because she only has 2 reactive powers, and one of those is only within range 2 when she's going against somebody. So
I think you rarely do her spender. I think it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. So the only thing she's going to possibly do is just stick around Corvus all day and and activate him. So
Right, right. Okay. Brandon, what are your thoughts here on Proxima?
Um, I think so I think Proxima's like obviously like auto include if you're playing Blackwater. But I kind of like what Brad was kind of hinting at. I think this character could see a lot more splash play. Um, because even if you take away the wife of Corvus Glaive like superpower, she's a 3 threat with 3 defense across the board. She has damage reduction. She can place herself to be within 1 on spear throw, which also gives poison, but also sets her up for martial prowess. Um, so she's got a lot of survivability for a 3 threat model. Um, and like 5 dice pierce on a spender or a builder is perfectly fine. The 3 power for free, range 3, place yourself within 1. Like that feels good. I agree with Steven, and I don't Steven and Brad. I don't think you use the spender all that much. It's nice sometimes, I guess. But I wish it was 3. I think it should be 3 power. I think that would make it feel a little bit better and worthwhile to spend. But I think overall, I think this is a really good character. I think she should probably see more play than she does outside of affiliation. I just think it's people have a hard time separating her from Corvus. I'm one of those people, so I don't want to.
I am too.
Yeah, it's really hard because I'm like, oh, because it's like Corvus. You just look at it, it's like, oh, this is an 8 threat model or a 7 threat model because it's Corvus and Proxima. Um, they do a good job in affiliation, making sure you keep priority by being able to go back to back. And if Corvus gets sucked in, she can usually get herself back into the fight with her small base, long move, and as well as a range 3 place. Like she can get across the board really, really quick. So I think she's a lot better than she sees play. I guess that would be the statement. I think she should see a lot more play outside of affiliation than she does.
Okay. I guess I agree. I've never really thought about her outside of affiliation without Corvus. And she is a solid 3 all around. Like all of her kit is useful. So but I don't know, the more this game progresses, the fewer spots there are for splashes because you usually have an affiliated model that fills the role, if not better, well enough to be worth bringing over a splash like Proxima. Now that being said, she's good. I think that she could be splashed. So, I guess we need to give a letter grade here on Proxima. Uh, I'm gonna give her a B plus. I think she's good. I think she's even. I think we're talking about her like she is a solid piece, and not like she's a blow everything away piece. So I'm gonna give her a B plus. Brad, what are you gonna give her as a letter grade?
I'm gonna go A minus. I think she's she's I think she's great for 3 points. Like she's got everything you could want.
That's fair. That's fair. Steven, what about you? What are you gonna give her as a letter grade?
I'm not too high on her. C plus.
C plus. Okay. All right. And Brandon, what are your thoughts here?
Uh, I'm trying to. What did she get changed on her card?
She a while ago they changed the wife of Corvus Glaive from being free to being 1 power.
Yeah, I think
That
that's
was the
it.
only like actual change,
Yeah,
right?
I
That's
And,
what
think
I
Yeah.
thought. Like she
no, and
Oh,
also range 4 to range 3.
for
on
the
the
oh,
spear
on the
spear
throw.
spear
throw.
throw.
Okay.
Oh, I wish that was still range 4. Oh god, that'd be so
Yeah,
gross.
that would be really good.
Yeah, I think she's still really good. I think there's a reason she hasn't been touched a whole lot. I mean, technically she's been nerfed. I think she's still really good. I think I'm definitely closer to Brad than I am Steven, so I think I'm gonna go with an A. Because I think she should see way more play outside of affiliation than she does.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our take on Proxima Midnight. Brad, do you have any comic books that feature Proxima Midnight? Is it the exact same as the last?
No,
Is this the same situation as the last one?
I make sure that everyone gets their own little spotlight. Now, there's gonna be Corvus Glaive's gonna be in these comics, but I have picked different comics to highlight her with.
Okay.
The first thing is a crossover called Time Runs Out. This her parts cover New Avengers 23 through 24 and Avengers 40 through 44. This is Jonathan Hickman, Stefano Casilli, and Valerio Schiti. Valerio Schiti. There we go. I can read. It's a race against time as the incursions threaten to destroy the multiverse. Universes are colliding, and Namor's new cabal, including Proxima Midnight, have a plan: destroy the other universes. But when the Maker, which is the ultimate universe version of Reed Richards, who expanded his brain and no longer has a moral compass, so he's basically a bad guy, makes them a better deal, they join his plans. And then that leads right into Secret Wars 2015 by Jonathan Hickman and Asad Ribic. The multiverse has ended. All that's left is Battleworld, a patchwork of different realities ruled by God Emperor Doom. The Cabal, having survived the ending of said multiverse, come out of their pod to find things quite different. They have to kill a Thor, only to be attacked by an army of Thors. And they aren't the only group of survivors trying to set things right, as there is a group of heroes from the 616 universe running around trying to fix things too. So Proxima plays a big role in those events, which makes sense because Jonathan Hickman's the one that creates the Black Order, and he uses them a lot throughout his Avengers run. So,
Okay. All right. So the multiverse is gone, or is that just a setup for?
So at the end of the story, they fix Earth 616, and supposedly the multiverse is still gone. There's only one universe. But since then, there have been comics that have taken place in other universes. So that didn't stick very long.
Okay. It like every other thing, it got better.
It got better, yep.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. So for this one, I just chose an anime that I watched recently that I very much enjoyed that has a female main character, except she is nothing like Proxima Midnight. Nothing at all like Proxima Midnight. This is on Netflix. It is called Freerun Beyond Journey's End. This show is incredible. It's beautiful, and it tells the story of an elf on an adventure who, in the very first episode, she's getting back from having won the greatest war of her time and having defeated the big bad guy. And then she's an elf, so she outlives everyone she cares about. So that is the impetus of this story. It's very different than your normal, like, heroes on an adventure story, but it does turn out to be a heroes on an adventure story, just told very differently. And it is really great. It is a great show that I highly recommend anyone checks out. That is Freerun Beyond Journey's End. And that is it for our show today. We have a very short episode. This may be a record breaker for our shortest episode. Well done, guys. Well done for keeping this one as light as possible. Thank you also to Stephen, Brandon, and Brad for joining me. And thank you for listening to us out there in podcast land. I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye, everyone.